Hi everyone, welcome back to Unreal with Usman. In today's tutorial, we are going to create a fully replicated score system in Unreal Engine. So when a player collides with an object, both the server and client will see the updated score, and same will work for the player B. That player B score is increased and also replicated on the server side. So let's build it from scratch. So here we have a default Unreal Engine third-person template, so we will use that. So first we create a play state. Why play state? Because play state store data that belong to the player and automatically replicated to all clients. So we rename that. So after we create a variable called player score, and we set its variable type to float and its replication to replicated. So after that we create a function called add player score, and we pass our input called points and set that to float, and after that we set a score system logic on here. Compile and save that, and we can set play state class to our new play state. So after that we can open our default player class, and on here we create a custom event called server player score, and we can also set on run on server. On here we use get controller because controller tell us which player owns that player, so we can use play state from that controller. And after cast we use our that function called add play score and set on points to 1, and we also comments on that so it look nicer. After compile and on save, we create a new folder called actor. So on here we create a blueprint class called type actor and set its name BP collider, and here we create a sphere and set its collision presets to overlap all dynamic, so our players easily overlap with that. So on here on component begin overlap, first we cast to our main third person player class, and after that we can use our custom event that we made on that class. So on here we use switch has authority node because we want it can only be run on the server side. Now we create our widget blueprint and we create a folder for that, and after that we create a widget blueprint class called WBP score. Here we do the canvas panel and then add a text, and we set its anchor, and after that we add a text called player A, I copied that text and place default 0 in it. On here we create our score logic on it. Now we create a rename that and add create a binding on that widget. So here we use a game state because it contains the play state of every connected players, making easy to assess all player scores. On here we can on that play state variable we use only a get and pass an index of 0 because we want our player 1 score we use on that variables. Now we create a binding of another player B, same copy and paste that code and just change our index on here. So we add a player 1, so the other player B can use that. Now we can compile and save that, and on our player controller we create a so make sure that on here that first we use that is locally player controlled because we want that which can every UI is created that belongs to local player, and we can create a widget over here. We create UI in a player controller because UI belongs to it local player and player controller exists on the both and server and client side. So after that we drag our BP collider object on here. Now we can set number of players to 2 and net mode on play as a listen server, and now we can play. Now we can easily see that the score is working, but there is still issues left to fix. When a player A collects an object, the score is updated, but on client it is not being displayed under a correct player, and same for the other. So there are still issues left to fix, so we will tackle that issues in a part 2. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.